Humans often drift through life on autopilot, moving through routines without deep thought or conscious awareness. Driving is a prime example of this unconscious state, where we act without noticing intricate details. As awareness grows, we begin to see the world's complexity, which can suddenly trigger deep anxiety. Realizing how fragile life is can feel terrifying, making it difficult to function in daily life. This discomfort is a natural part of awakening, revealing the unpredictable nature of our existence. While the unconscious state feels safer and less stressful, it lacks the depth of true consciousness. Many remain in a reactive, animal-like state, driven by survival instincts rather than thoughtful, intentional action. Higher consciousness invites us to reflect, understanding how our choices ripple outward to affect others. The transition often brings fear or sadness, but these are simply signs of profound internal change. Eventually, we reach an observer state, replacing panic with acceptance and releasing the fear of death. Life begins to feel like a game, where our inner thoughts shape the reality we experience. Finally, we anchor ourselves in the present moment, fully awake and alive in the now.
There's this thing that we do as humans where we slip into unconsciousness throughout the day. And driving is one of those things where we do unconsciously. It's autopilot. And as we become more conscious, and what that means is that we're more aware of the fine details of everything and how it works and operates all together, which we understand, but we don't understand. In that place of understanding that we don't understand how everything is working together on the micro and macro scale, that's awareness. When we slip into unconsciousness, we're not really paying attention to all the fine little details of every little minute thing that's making everything, all the parts and pieces that's making everything work. For me personally, when there was probably about a good year, and I'm still experiencing it, I'm coming out of it though, where I was having a really hard time driving and I was starting to have panic attacks because this level of consciousness, you realize at any moment you could be in a car crash. Every little second, anything could happen. I mean, you're driving however many ton vehicle, right? Everybody else is, and everybody else at any moment anything could happen. And that's really waking up to this consciousness where you're very aware of everything that can go wrong and everything that can go right, but mostly leaning on everything that can go wrong at any given moment. And it can send us into panic attacks. And I think that's why so many of us do or are experiencing so much anxiety and panic, is because we are becoming more conscious. And so although it feels terrifying, and a lot of people are getting medicated because it's almost debilitating, where you can't even leave your house, which I've experienced myself. It's hard to even leave the house. Maybe it's hard to even get out of bed. And what this is it's consciousness. We're becoming more aware of all the possibilities and everything that can happen and everything it takes to make everything move and go and stop. And it's consciousness. And it's painful. It's painful to get to this place until you get to the other side of it. So once you get through all the manic of it all, you start to come to the other side where you realize this is what's happening. I'm waking up from an unconscious state of mind. So driving, for example, driving is really easy when you're unconscious, and that just means you're on autopilot. You're not thinking about anything. You've got the music going, you're drinking your favorite drink, and you're just autopilot. You know your way home, you know your way. It's a beaten road. It's a routine you're very familiar with. And it's when that happens, your body very easily goes into unconsciousness. It doesn't mean that you're out. It just means that you're not completely there. You're not totally experiencing the moment 100%. You're more in a dream state, which, to be honest, it's a lot easier to operate that way in this world, in this construct, in this matrix, in this whatever hell realm, whatever you want to call it. It's easier to operate in the hell realm, or lower states of the 5D or whatever, 3D, whatever you want to call this. I guess it's considered 3D, in a sleep paralysis, because when you're not really thinking about everything that's going on or could go wrong, it's easier to get through it. It's easier to get up and get out, to go about your day and not worry or be afraid. It's the fear and it's the worry is really the awakening, and realizing anything could happen at any moment, and not everything is peachy keen, and there's a lot of craziness in the world, and a lot of people who do things that are harmful, can be harmful. I mean, there's drivers that are driving like idiots all around me right now as we speak. I've got a guy on my ass. I've got people coming over to the right side of me. I had road construction I was trying to get through. Someone slammed on their brake, and everybody's just, this guy almost just hit the side of me. Now he's speeding off because he's pissed off. I mean, but this is an unconscious state of mind when you get these crazy drivers, because they're not aware that any little thing, that when they start being manic on the road rage, they could die, somebody else could die, but they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about nothing, except they're just on autopilot. It's a dream. So who cares if I die? Who cares if the other person dies? It's like they're not really looking at the reality of their behaviors and the consequences of their actions. And that's sleep paralysis. That's unconsciousness. You're not thinking about what you say or what you do. You're just on autopilot. Your body, you're just going. And really, what that is it's an animal instinct. It's the animal brain. The animal brain just reacts. The animal brain does not sit there and meditate or contemplate or watch their words or are careful about how their actions might affect another. Animals don't think like that. That's a more mature, higher level of consciousness and awareness. When we're not like that and you get road rage or whatever, or when people fight or when people pull out guns on each other, rob each other, you name it, like all that stuff, that is the animal brain that is in fight or flight, or also, I would say more so just survival instincts. And I think what we really need to realize is throughout the day, we all do this. We all fall back into kind of that animal brain where we're just on autopilot because it's easier to get through this 3D world, hell, matrix, whatever you want to call it, without thinking about what's actually going on. Because if you think about what's actually going on, you're like, this is not right. Like, this needs to change. Things can be better. We can do things simpler. Life can be easier. Why is it so difficult? Why are we 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? Why are we living like this? You see what I'm saying? Like, when you're conscious, you start thinking about these things. When you're unconscious, you just go with the flow because you don't think there's any other way because you're asleep. It is what it is. You're asleep. And I keep catching myself throughout the day and slipping into, and you'll find yourself, everybody does. I don't care how awakened you are, we all slip in and out of it. The conscious, unconscious, aware, unaware. You could be it's very easy to just slip into autopilot. It makes this life easier. So the more we are aware that we are unaware, the more conscious we are of our unconsciousness. The first stage is manic, and the first stage is a lot of fear, because you see everything that's wrong, and there's sadness and there's depression, and instead of getting a pill or trying to change the way we feel, just understand this is part of the awakening. It's not comfortable. It's very uncomfortable because things need to change, and change normally doesn't happen unless it's uncomfortable. So realizing the panic attacks are just part of the awakening, and then getting to the other side of that, and the other side is now, it's like just the observer state, where you are observing yourself in the conscious state of being. So it's another layer to it, where you're witnessing yourself and others, those that are acting. You can tell those that are asleep and those that are not asleep, and you start to accept things and you're like, okay, this is what it is. And then you come to this place of acceptance, because also you have to struggle with the fear of death. For whatever reason, part of the awakening, there's this really difficult part, and I don't know how other people are going through it. Would love to hear if you are and how you're going through it, but you have to go through the fear of death and get to the other side of that, where you're not afraid to die anymore. That's all part of the awakening. And however long that takes somebody, it's taken me probably, I'd say probably close to a year to really get over the idea of being afraid of dying. And once you get over that hump of being afraid to die, you can really start taking the wheel. Meaning, you realize that your vessel, your experience here is temporary, if not illusionary, if not, it's a game. Like, it's a game of consciousness and awakening. And that's the game. And everything here is actually, there are forces that are helping you wake up. It's part of the game. And when you start to realize everything is everything that's being orchestrated is all a part of the awakening. When you start to wonder, well, what is the purpose of life? Why are we here? And all that stuff. For me, it just seems more and more obvious. The whole point of this game is to wake up. And there's so many levels, and there's so many challenges that come with it. But I'm definitely in this state of I'm now in this state of really trying to understand the experience that I'm having within, because I am projecting. I am the projector. I am the light. The light is this is my experience. This is my life. This is my world. This is everything that I'm experiencing is coming from within. And so going within and trying to understand myself, what my body is trying to tell me, what are the feelings and the emotions triggering, saying, do I go left, do I go right, what kind of experience do I want to have, and creating the experience from within, and understanding that the experience is happening because of my level of awareness. And the more aware I become, it's a projection and a reflection, and the outer world will reflect that awakening and that awareness and merge. And I see that we are one. I see that the outside and the inside, it's all the same. And getting to that place, and then that's the whole thing behind manifesting. Manifesting is not necessarily what people think it is. It's realizing that when we work on the inside and become self-reflective, self-aware, we see that what's going on within us is reflecting all around us. And that's manifestation, because then you can create from within, and it naturally, simultaneously creates externally. That's how this world is. That's a manifesting type world. But I tell you what, I got all kinds of people. I mean, they're just riding my behind. They are riding me because everybody wants to get home. Everybody wants to get home so badly. They're not, I could slam on my brake. That guy behind me would have hit me. I just slammed on my brake. He doesn't care. He's not, he's asleep. Wants to get home. He probably wants to drink his beer, smoke a cigarette. I don't know. It's like we're always just trying to get to the next thing instead of being in the moment. And that's part of the awakening, is you really start becoming in the moment and very self-reflective, very much in the now, realizing that the past and the future, it doesn't exist. There's only now. And that's a whole nother thing.